Hi everybody and welcome to Heel Heat. This is our TNA show for the week. Again, sorry that we're running a little bit late. We are having a little bit of issues in our personal life, so as you can see, Gary's not here again. Hopefully he'll be back by the time we do our Raw and Ring of Honor shows. But let's go right into the TNA show for the week. We start off with Hulk Hogan, and he's calling out the Monster Abyss, which brings out Joseph Park instead. Park basically says, I wish I was here to have seen my brother last week. Hogan says he wants to speak with him. It eventually brings out D'Lo and Doc. Park and D'Lo get into a little bit thing. Park says, let me take him on tonight, setting up a match for later on. Next we have Bobby Roode versus Chavo Guerrero Jr. It was a decent match. The main point of the match is James Storm comes out, spits beer in Bobby Roode's face, causing a disqualification. Basically the match gets thrown out. And we see Storm in the back. He goes into Hogan's office. A decision was made. He said he's going to say the decision later. Next we have Kurt Angle coming out and talking about, basically wanting to get after AJ Styles, which brings out Mr. Anderson, which basically he says AJ, it looks like AJ's made his decision, and we're going to patch him in next week. Who knows what we're going to see? This will be the live one this week coming up, and maybe AJ joins, maybe he doesn't, maybe AJ's the savior. Again, very much like the Sting NWO angle from '96. It's very reminiscent. This is almost going down the same exact road. Now, coming out of that, we have another match. We have, and to preface it, the Gut Check winners, they're going to be in a mini tournament with the winner going on to join the Bound for Glory series. The first match of the mini tournament is Jay Bradley versus Christian York. Probably the two most promising out of the guys that have won so far. Christian York, if you look back when he was in it, I was very excited, and I believe Gary was as well, due to his extensive career as an independent wrestler. He's not been so great since he's come into TNA. Matter of fact, we use him as an example of a bad rating when we do our rating system. And Jay Bradley was a guy we really liked in his thing. He's a guy I've seen some of his indie work. I forget what the company that Billy Corgan runs his name is, but I've seen a lot of what he done in there, and I really enjoyed him there, and I really enjoyed him here as well. I think he has something. He has that it factor that I think is going to go far, and I hope he's the guy that carries the ball for this division into the Bound for Glory series. Now, speaking of divisions, our next match is from the Knockouts division, Gail Kim versus Velvet Sky. Decent match. It's not anything new, not anything old. Velvet gets the win. I've seen better from both the girls, and this just seemed like a throwaway match in my opinion. Next we have our X Division match tonight. Going through divisions rather quickly here. We have Petey Williams versus a returning Chris Sabin versus Kenny King for the X Division title. Before the match, we see Petey talking about strategy. Sabin talks a little bit about it as well. They go out there, probably put on the best match of the night. I very much enjoyed it. Chris Sabin looked great. Petey Williams looked great. Kenny King continues to look strong, continues to impress, picks up the win here. What can you say about the kid? He's being put in situations with good talent, and it's showing. He's playing up. He's picking his game up to the level of talent he's with. Petey Williams and Chris Sabin are two of the absolute best the X Division's ever had. Chris Sabin's probably, if you had a Mount Rushmore of X Division wrestlers, he would be right there on the top. Which, kudos for all three of these guys. I'm really enjoying the three-way format that they've done. I really like the matches that have evolved from it. Now, speaking of that, well, Petey Williams in particular, we had our question of the week last week, which was, which move do you mark out for? Now, before I get into my opinion, we have an answer from one of our friends, Handsome Pat Fannin. He says, I mark out the sit-out pile drivers. I like, that's a very good answer. I like what you're saying. They really haven't used that much lately, and that could be why you're saying that. It's become more of a special attraction as pile drivers are getting less and less used due to the threat of, or the potential for, concussions and head injuries. Knowing what they know now, it's not like 5, 10, 15, even 20 years ago where pile drivers were normal. And it was just as common to see a pile driver as it was to see a suplex. But I like the sit-out pile driver. Great move. Great choice. Right? I think it's one that's, it fits the bill. Now, going into this last week, I kind of showed my cards, and I said, in introducing the question, I talked about the 3D being the move that I mark out to. And yes, that is the move I mark out to the most, but I'm going to bring up another one just because I already showed my hand, and that is the Asian / green mist / red mist, whatever color mist, whether it be the Great Muta, Tajiri, Great Kabuki, or any of the numerous other wrestlers that have used it through the years. It's something, I know it's probably the least painful move in the history of wrestling, but something about it, something about a guy spewing the mist in the face, it just, what can I say? Every time I see it, I mark out, and I get all excited, just like I did when I first seen it, which probably would have been Great Kabuki doing it, or Killer Khan. I honestly don't remember. I remember a lot of different guys used it around the time. Great Muta was the first. I know a lot of guys used it regularly, but Great Muta is the one that I really remember for the move, and Tajiri. But Muta, it fit into his character. Kabuki was a guy I didn't see much. He wrestled more in Texas. I did see some of his stuff, but Muta's a guy I associated with. So the Muta Mist, when Muta does it, it's even more special. So that's another move. Great answer from our friend Handsome Pat Fannin. And we'll go into the question of the week for this week. Now, since in recent time they brought back guys like Petey Williams, Chris Sabin, Suicide is returning soon, Sanjay Dutt's been brought back. Who's another X Division wrestler, a former X Division wrestler that you would like to see return? Let us know what you think. Hit us up on our Facebook, hit us up on our Twitter. Put it down where? Down there in the comments. No baseball bat, that's Gary's thing. I'm not going to do it. Hopefully he'll be back soon to do it for himself. And going right into that, going back into the show, we have our next match of the night, which was Christopher Daniels versus Sean Hernandez. I liked this better than the Chavo versus Rude match. I thought it was good. We had Storm again came out, caused a distraction, which caused Hernandez to hit the pounce on Daniels and pick up the win. Storm grabs the microphone after the match. It says there's going to be a tag team match. It's going to be Bad Influence versus Rude and Aries versus Chavo and Hernandez versus Storm and a mystery partner. I don't know. Could be anybody. Could be Braden Walker. Or actually Chris Harris. Sorry. I had to do the Braden Walker because that was terrible. But could be Christopher Harris bringing back America's Most Wanted. Could be a swerve where Storm joins back up with Rude. A la what Cody Rhodes did to Hardcore Holly on Ted DiBiase's debut. Could be a new guy debuting. Could be an old guy coming back. Maybe Jeff Jarrett. Maybe anybody. John Morrison. Could be anybody. I like this idea. Could be even Low-Ki. Low-Ki would be a great ad. And then he'd be someone that they could bring back the X Hunt too. I like the idea. I like this surprise tag team partner. Much like we were talking about with the moves we mark out for, I mark out for the surprise tag partner. It always keeps me interested. I know I get let down a lot, but still, it's a great thing, and when it works, when it really, really works, there is nothing more exciting. Now, coming off of that, we have the match that was set up earlier in the first segment of the night, D'Lo Brown versus Joseph Park. D'Lo dominating on offense, gets in the corner. We see Park get busted open, and much like we've seen in the past, once he got busted open, he abyssed out. He did the abyss signal, hit the black hole slam, got the win. Again, further showing D'Lo going down the ranks in Aces and Eights and building Joseph Park a little bit as a separate character from Abyss. Hopefully, my hopes is they play it off as a schizophrenia kind of gimmick instead of it's two different people, because at some point someone's going to point out, why aren't they both here ever at the same time? Now we go right into the main segment of the night, which is the contract signing between Bully Ray and Sting, and the general manager Hulk Hogan comes out. Now, this was your basic run-of-the-mill contract signing, except Bully Ray says to Sting, I'm going to put my belt on the line, but if you want this to be a no disqualification match, you have to put on the line, if you lose, you can never challenge for the world title again. I thought it was a great stipulation. I'd really like to see them have Sting lose, and then maybe at some point earn a title shot back again, or keep him away from the world title. Sting doesn't need to be champion to be over. Sting is over. It's kind of like The Undertaker. Undertaker doesn't need a belt to be The Undertaker. Sting doesn't need a belt to be Sting. I'd like to see the belt be kept around guys like Bully, Christopher Daniels, Bobby Roode. There's plenty of guys that are world champion material that either are not in the hunt right now or haven't been for a while. Somebody like Samoa Joe. God, I mean, the guy was probably the greatest, had probably the greatest championship run ever there, and he's out of the hunt. So maybe moving Sting out gives some of the other guys a thing. However, I think it's too much of a make sense booking that Sting's going to win based on the stipulation. But we had Hogan come out, which brings our Thunderlips, a.k.a. Suburban Commando, a.k.a. Mr. Nanny Count, that's all for you, Paul, to two Thunderlips. We're going to go right into the ratings for the show. Basically, if you've seen our show before, we have a 1 to 5 rating system, 5 being the best, 1 being the worst. A 1's a Garrett Bischoff, a 2's a Christian York, 3's a James Storm, 4's a Christopher Daniels, 5's a Kurt Angle. I'm going with this as a, I hate to say it, but it's a 2. It's a Christian York to me. I mean, nothing overly exciting. Jay Bradley was good. The X Division 3-way was good. The Divas match I didn't really care for. Rude and Chavo I didn't really care for. Daniels and Hernandez just seemed to move along a gimmick. Didn't really care for the match though. D'Lo versus Joseph Park. I would rather seen D'Lo versus Abyss. Now that Abyss is back. But overall, a kind of lackluster show. Hopefully they pick it up on the live show coming up this week and we get back on track with TNA. But basically, that's all I have to say about this. My name is George Coles, and this has been Heel Heat.